Anything with African, you're in trouble. You see, because African genes are dominant genes. European genes are recessive genes. So any mixture is going to move toward Africa.
You have these students looking at the Egyptians and assuming that the Egyptians were black, and then taking that thesis one step further and saying, since the Egyptians were black and the Egyptians were the progenitors of Greek civilization, so our ancestors, blacks, were the progenitors of Western civilization. And so this becomes a very kind of useful model of history to reinforce black pride, to resupply to the black student the missing past.
And then you got other pharaoh, other images. Here's brother Keper Ka-Ra, Senhor-Woset I, again of the 12th dynasty of the Middle Kingdom, obviously looking like my brother. But here's my main man. He's got big African feet. Mentuhotep II. Now he was on the throne 2000 BC. While he was on the throne, the Greeks didn't have a pot to pee in. The ancient Hebrews weren't anywhere around or as significant. The Romans the wolves hadn't come up to nurture Romulus and Remus. Europeans wasn't doing a damn thing. And this brother was sitting on the throne. And I guess he decided, you know, just for kicks, he wanted himself pictured as black.
I would just like to draw the attention of people that black in statuary in ancient Egypt doesn't mean black skin. It means fertile, alive, as opposed to reddish or yellowish, which is the color of the desert and the lack of fertility. So whenever you see a statue being painted black, it means that it is a hope for revival, that it is alive, not at all that it is black-skinned.
I think the ancient Egyptians would have had a fair amount of amusement out of this debate as to whether they were black or whether they were white. The ancient Egyptians were more concerned with nationalism, with who was Egyptian and who was not Egyptian. The ancient Egyptian texts are very clear about what they thought of foreigners. They spoke of the Asiatics as being vile. Throughout their texts we read about the vile Asiatic. And we also read their opinion about the Nubians, whom they call vile also.
In the Cairo Museum, models of Nubian soldiers are painted black, in contrast to models of Egyptians who are colored a reddish brown.
I don't think that the ancient Egyptians were any different than what we are. The only thing I can tell you for a fact is that they differentiated themselves from black African, from Negroid Africa, because in their reliefs and in the terminology, in the names and everything, they show ethnies. The Egyptian looks completely different from what is an African in the Egyptian mind. This is the only thing I can tell you. And I suppose that you can draw your own conclusions from this remark.
I don't believe that race is a very useful concept, as I say in my book. Nevertheless, I think bringing out the African nature of Egyptian civilization is important for our politics today. And this argument that I shouldn't be feeding the black racists, I don't like racism of any sort. I don't like black racism. I believe in the cultural creativity of mixture and but I'm much less frightened of giving ammunition to black racists than I think orthodox classicists should be of giving ammunition to white racists, because I think white racism is a far more present and acute danger to our society today than black racism.